So as we were talking earlier, today is Good Friday, and the Christian pilgrims took part in services today in the Holy Land. Worshippers packed Jerusalem's Holy Church, which is believed to be built on the site where Jesus was crucified, buried, and resurrected.
Later in the day, hundreds of Christian pilgrims walked in processions following Jesus' footsteps in Jerusalem's Old City.
A mass at the church in Bethlehem, where Jesus is believed to have been born, is scheduled for later today. Christians believe Jesus was crucified on Good Friday and resurrected on Good Sunday. And here to tell us about all this weekend's festivities locally is Mark DuPont from the Diocese of Springfield. Mark, a blessed Good Friday to you.
A blessed Good Friday to both of you. Nice to be back with you both.
Oh, we're so glad you're here.
Thanks.
So what have we missed in our descriptions earlier? Tell us a little bit more about Good Friday and what we can expect.
Well, I think you've captured it in your sort of lead in there. I think this is a time of year marked by many unique traditions and celebrations. This is really the pivotal point for the Christian calendar, and actually it's not an overstatement to say without Good Friday and Easter Sunday, Christianity, not just Catholicism, but all Christianity doesn't exist. I mean, we draw from these days the deepest meanings of our faith. Today is Good Friday, of course, the most solemn day. Of course, we call it Good Friday, which is an interesting contrast, but it's a time of year where they're marked by contrast. So it is good for those of us who are saved by the crucifixion and death of Jesus Christ, because it was a single act of sacrifice by one individual that carries forward for 2 millennium that we still today experience. So when Christians experience Good Friday, as they will today, it's not a historic remembrance, it's an actual real life remembrance, actually trying to put themselves into a better understanding of the passion and sufferings that Jesus underwent on our behalf many years ago.
And I think what you said is really important. You keep saying Christians.
Yeah.
Everyone at home, I mean, some people probably don't know, it's not just for Catholics. It's for all Christian religions.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely. These days are marked for all the Christian faith. It is something we share universally with all our Christian brothers and sisters. And because of that, it brings special meaning to us and how we celebrate it. Of course, the greatest of days comes on Sunday, which is Easter. And you know, a lot of times people put a lot into Christmas, and Christmas is a wonderful holiday that we all love to celebrate and has deep religious meaning as well. But there is no Christian holiday greater than Easter. It is the highest and holiest of days for all Christian faiths, and that's why churches sing out in Alleluias. We have many people will join us for services, both in the Catholic and other Christian denominations, to mark this day. And it is a wonderful time. It's, again, marked by contrast. Today is a very solemn, quiet day, but come Easter, churches are filled with flowers and festivities. And, you know, the message here is not just one for people of faith, although we certainly embrace it, but it's a message of service. Just last evening, the Holy Father washed the feet of youth detainees in Italy. And many people were, you know, curious about that. And I think the Holy Father is trying to say, you know, religious dogma and our practices are very important, but they need to have an actual expression. He washed the feet of Muslims and Christians, young men, young women as well, as a way to tell all of us we need to go beyond our church. I mean, that Good Friday's message is only as meaningful as we live it in our everyday lives. And we need to take that message outside of the church in service. You know, last night they had the Red Cross had their Hometown Heroes Awards. And you know, those are great things that fit very nicely into the message of the Easter season.
Well, because no matter if you're celebrating Easter or you're of a different faith, it comes down to kindness at the end of the day. It's all about being kind. But let's talk about some Easter celebrations, some Good Friday celebrations that are happening more locally. What can we expect this weekend, Mark?
Yeah, well, today, of course, many communities, many Christian denominations and Catholic faiths will have services, mostly around 3 o'clock this afternoon. That is the traditional time for the Good Friday service. It is not a Mass. We do not celebrate Mass in the Catholic faith on Good Friday, nor on Holy Saturday until after sunset. So these are 2 days where you do not celebrate Mass in the church. Tonight, our cathedral in Springfield will have a very powerful, and this is open, and we get people of all denominations will come to this, a very powerful Tenebrae service, which is marked by light and darkness and music. And it's a really, if you haven't experienced it, it's a wonderful thing. 7:30 at the cathedral on State Street. And of course, Easter services begin Saturday night after sunset, as I said. It is one of the oldest, longest standing Christian services in the church calendar, the Great Easter Vigil, as they like to call it. And many parishes, this will involve welcoming new members into the faith across the diocese. We're going to have over 130 people baptized into our Catholic faith on Holy Saturday evening during the Great Easter Vigil. And of course, Easter morning, our churches will be packed. Many churches have added Masses for the Easter folks who come out that day, and that's great. And you know, there's nothing wrong. You know, it's people sometimes will connect at certain times of the year, and you know, we'd like to see them all the time. But I think something all Christian faiths would say: if they come on Easter, that's great. They're more than welcome, and whether it's a Catholic church or one of the other Christian denominations that will be celebrating Easter, people should make that a part of their Easter weekend.
Exactly. Well, Mark, I want to thank you so much for joining us today. A blessed Good Friday to you and the
Thank
entire.
you for
Lord.
being
Yep.
here.
It's a pleasure. Thanks for joining
Take
us
care.
today.